And here we are, Friday, almost mid-month. Happy
Almost there.
April. Yeah, we're getting there. So
Hello.
welcome everyone. Oh, well, the numbers just jumped all of a sudden. Everybody jumped on. They must have gotten a reminder that we're going live and everyone's coming in all at once. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Uh, we have a surprise substitution. So Tom, thank you for jumping in and
Always happy to
listening
be
with us.
here. Neeraj, who is our PM for Remote Assist, he's got a big family event this weekend. His brother's turning 50. So happy birthday, brother of Neeraj, and hope you're enjoying your family evening. I'm excited to be here to talk about Silent Assist today, but I think we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about first.
Oh yeah, lots of stuff. And Joranna, thank you for joining us. You're going to be a regular this month. You've got quite a few products coming to the forefront. So
I know the devices PM has been, knocking the ball out of park. So you'll be seeing me for the next few weeks. Hopefully you won't get bored. I'm just going to
we're
there.
glad we're glad to have you. We are happy to have you. So for those of you, if you haven't joined us before, we're going to talk about community and then meetups. We've got some product news to remind you of what's going on, some webinars coming up. And then Tom will talk about Silent Assist. And then we'll maybe have some time for the news. There's some interesting stuff going on that we might have time to talk about. So let's jump right in. Oh, no, let's wait. We usually talk about our weekends. I don't want to, forget the fun stuff and then a little chit chat. So anybody doing anything fun this weekend besides Neeraj going to a fun birthday party?
Well, I'm hoping to make the trip up to Frederick, Maryland tomorrow. The DC area Mac admins group called Mac DMV is going to meet at Oscar's Ale House in Frederick on Saturday. It's right across the street from the Spinners Pinball Museum. So we are going to have some lunch, chat about stuff that's happening, and then head right over to play some pinball. And then got a family, a couple of friends of the family, host a monthly dinner party. And so we are headed there. I'm going to make some flank steak for fajitas on the grill. So it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice. I know. I wish it wasn't so far. It's about a 4.5 hour drive on a good day. Otherwise, I would see if I could scoop myself up there. But yeah, a little far.
It's a haul.
It is. It is, unfortunately. If it were on the south side of DC, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Well, Single has a really cool annual festival. It's called Artisphere, and it's just not even just local vendors. It's people submit from all over the country, really, and host a booth with their art, all kinds of art mediums, and it's really fun. I look forward to it all year, so I'm really excited. I think it's like bigger than ever this year. I don't know how many vendors there are, but they've set up 2 music stages, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Very
So I'm
nice.
just looking for some R&R, but there's a school festival, elementary school festival that I have to attend. And California has been warming up a little bit, so it's been nice. So can't wait to get out there. Although a friend who's going to Bangkok for vacation soon, they told me that
Nice.
it's 41 degrees Celsius over there. That's like more than 100 something, Fahrenheit. So super hot there. So yeah, I don't know if it's that fun, but it's always good to get away.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Exciting stuff. I don't have anything planned, so I'm boring. But I'm hoping to rest and relax a little bit too. My kids are trying to rope me into more Roblox. So I will probably get roped into playing on islands or something like that. I don't do it too often, but they really enjoy it. So I will
I will
probably join in to do some farming.
I will also mention that it is, happy, Tears of the Kingdom Day to everybody who celebrates. The new Zelda game dropped. My copy is sitting on a Amazon truck someplace. I am hoping that it gets here soon because, my son and I have shared a Switch account, and so he can play now. And he was like down there this morning, like first thing before school playing. I was like, "You're not going to wait for me?" And he was like, "Dad, no." And I laughed. I just couldn't do anything but laugh in that moment. So.
Yeah, 100%. I know I did see some, as I was looking through the news, I did see some reviews already of it. So People are fast. Man.
Yeah.
Well, Tom,
All
you'll,
right.
you'll
Yeah.
get to report back to us then.
I will. I will definitely come back for a report on that one. I
Okay.
played a lot of Breath of the Wild, so I am very much looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, we've got the lobby, which is great for off-topic stuff, and you're welcome to drop something in
Indeed.
there. We won't object. All right. Community. What's new in community? There's a lot going on. I won't read every single thing, but we just dropped a new JCU course. GemCloud University has a new GemCloud Password Manager course that you can go take a look at. We will link to the post that has more information about what you can learn and what you can do with the Password Manager and the course. Uh, Best practice post from Sean on setting up kiosk mode on Windows 10 and 11. There is a question about what y'all do for software management options that you may want to go chime in what you use to manage software with JumpCloud, but actually in addition to JumpCloud. Couple of blog posts on getting recognition as well as managing user onboarding and offboarding as an MSP. A couple of posts in security about establishing device trust for Android devices and device trust for Apple iOS devices. Say that 10 times fast. And some more. We will link all of those in our recap post in the IT Hour group. We have a forum in there where we post all of our recaps as well as a link to the video. You can check those out anytime. So, Alexa, what's going
Yes.
on in meetups?
Yeah, another short update this week, but just one final reminder that we have the Raleigh meetup next Tuesday, the 16th. That's going to be at the Umstead, really in Cary, North Carolina. But Becky will be there, and she just received the shipment of swag. So there's going to be fun giveaways. So if you're in the Raleigh area, make sure you check it out. They have a really great group who meets. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So the registration link will be in the notes, but I'll also drop it in the chat so that you have it.
Yeah, and let me just say that I had to drag the box across my threshold.
It may have
Uh,
gone a little overboard.
The Jump Cloud branded bowling balls were a nice touch,
Yeah.
but definitely made the shipping costs a little higher.
yeah, it was a little bit difficult to get it into the house. I
What
just,
can I say? Just love my meetup peeps. I want them to have the best.
and speaking of swag, we are working on what swag we are going to have and take with us to a certain conference in July.
Well, I will also mention that I will be in Brighton, England, with Joel Rennick in just 2 weeks, and there's going to be some Jump Cloud swag there. We're hosting a drinks event on Monday before the conference down in Brighton, open to the public. If you're in the area or can get there by train, I understand Brighton's just an hour by train from London, and of course the trains work over there, unlike in the United States, and they definitely catch fire a lot less often. There were some challenges on the Northeast Regional line here in the DC New York region this past week, but we'll have some swag there that you're not going to want to miss. I promise you this. And also we'll be talking on the Wednesday of that week in the just after lunch time slot, right after Graham Gilbert's talk. So I'm super excited to talk a little bit there about the future of modern identity management on macOS and Windows. So very excited to see folks there. And then, of course, there's Penn State. And that feels like it's so close. I feel like we're just just a shade under 2 months to go on that one, right?
Yeah.
So
So I'm working on some fun goodies that I can't share yet because we're trying to work out the details, but hopefully we will have some fun swag for PSU. So and you will see some faces there. Absolutely. I believe Tom's planning to be there.
yes,
I'm trying to make sure I make it as well as a couple other colleagues at the very least. I won't out them yet. They can out themselves when they are ready, but I know we have at least one other colleague who is speaking and maybe more.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be a great conference if you've never been if you manage Apple devices at scale, or even if you're new to managing Apple devices, there is no conference more storied than the Penn State Mac Admins Conference. Attendance is, almost compulsory at this point. The registration is open. You can go to macadmins.psu.edu and sign up there. It's a phenomenal conference. It's a little tricky to get to because State College is in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. But there are frequently caravans of Mac admins coming from DC, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and those are a little bit larger airports that you can fly into and get a ride. It's a day of workshops and 3 days of sessions, and of course, there's the ever beloved Berkey Creamery on the campus of Penn State. You must go to the Creamery. Have you been to the Creamery? Do you like ice cream? So there are all sorts of fun things going on there. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be great to be there. We're going to have lots of fun things to talk about by July, especially on the Jump Cloud front.
I can't believe Charles is is driving from Raleigh, because I think I timed that and that's like at least 10 hours. That's
Oof.
I can't
Dedication.
do it. I can't do it.
Only about 3 hours and 45 from DC. So
Not bad.
I think when I mapped it, it looked like it was going to be 8 or 10 hours, and I was like, "Oh, I can't take that much time to be able to do that." So it looks like I'm going to have to figure out which airport to fly into, and then hitch a ride or drive or something. So
Keith's exactly right. Just 4 hours, or 4 to 10 hours is just a short jaunt in the Midwest. So
yeah.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
I was going to say, Rob, the hotels at the Penn State are very affordable for attendees. I think the rate's $149 a night. So if you get into the room block, so there are a lot of really reasonable options. It's not your big city hotel prices, that's for sure.
Actually, yeah. And if I think even some of the hotels that were not the Penn Stater were actually cheaper than 149 from what I saw. I saw some for
Yeah.
129, but you're not right there on the campus. You have to drive in a little bit. But there were some really good, unless that's $1.49. No, sorry, Rob, it's not. But they were reasonable for hotels. So definitely check that out if you can, because we would love to see as many of you in person as possible. We are a sponsor, so we will have a booth there to stop by, which is why we're talking about swag. So come by and see what we have on hand so you can get your Jump Cloud stuff. And okay, I think we've beat that dead horse. Product release. Oh, I'm sorry. We have what's the better phrase than beating the horse? We've fed the full horse or something. We've stuffed it to capacity. Product releases and announcements.
Yes.
All right.
Lots of excitement on this front this week.
Mhm.
Android EMM went general availability on Wednesday this week. So if you're interested in doing Android enterprise management for your Android devices, whether they're BYO handsets like this lovely Google Pixel that I have sitting on my desk here, whether you set that up for have your end users enroll their own phones for a work profile, or if you need to do work profile on a fully managed device or a mostly managed device. Those are the options that are available here today at Start. We'll have Sergi here next week to take you on a detailed tour of Android EMM, not to mention where we're going next, which is what I think everyone's really excited to hear about. So give it a look. It's really straightforward to get set up. Takes you maybe 5-10 minutes. And once you're there, you can manage your Android devices using Jump Cloud. We've got something like 15 policies somewhere in there for managing your work profiles, not to mention, including your apps. So lots of good stuff there.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else am I forgetting? We'll have, oh, of course,
Windows.
Windows MDM. So you can now enroll your devices with Windows MDM directly from the user portal with a one-click command. So it's really, really straightforward. You have your user, if they've got a brand new device and there's no management on it yet, you have them log into the admin portal, or excuse me, the user portal, and click a link, and their device is instantly managed with Jump Cloud. And it also protects the agent in new and different ways. And we'll have a lot more to discuss when Scott Reed's here in 2 weeks.
Yes,
Yeah.
very excited. So next 2 weeks, that's why Joranna's here to help out with those. And yeah, Sergey
Yeah.
and Scott, it's the week of the
Yeah, they'll be the guys to talk about it more. But if you guys have time today or this week, just try it out and then bring your questions to us the next 2 weeks, and also like feature requests. What can we do better? What can we improve on? And we definitely will take those and
Mhm.
bring it back and make things better for everyone.
Yeah, I linked both of those posts in the comments. So you can go take a look at the announcements on the community and then feel free to comment on those posts or come watch those demos and then ask your questions then.
Yes.
Alexa, we've got a
Yeah.
lot of webinars and things coming up. So
Yes, we certainly do. We've got 3 super awesome webinars planned in the next couple of weeks. The first one is happening next week. In honor of it being Mental Health Awareness Month, we are bringing in Alexis Santos, who is a guide teacher on the 10% Happier podcast. He's really awesome and is going to share some best practices and tips around managing stress, specifically when it comes to being in the IT field. So that is going to be next week, the 18th. Tom is going to also be on there to help navigate the conversation with Alexis, but don't miss that one. It's going to be really awesome. And then the following week, we've got 2 webinars. Those are both of our roadmap webinars. So the first one is going to be for our direct customers. So that is the product roadmap webinar happening on the 23rd. And then the next day, the 24th, we've got the MSP focused partner roadmap webinar. So if you're curious about what's coming up, then don't miss those, because we've got all our product guys who are going to be on there telling us all the new good stuff. So yeah, super exciting next couple of weeks.
yeah, and we will post. I'm posting the one for the wellness in the chat right now. And Alexa, if you'll do there's different product roadmap webinars in there as well. And that way y'all can check those out. And with that, all those announcements are out of the way. Tom, what's new with Silent Assist? I know
Well, I was
everybody's
going to
been
say,
asking about this. They're like, come on, bring it
Remote
on.
Assist is, a spectacular technology. I mean, we need it in our day-to-day life. There are very few things as nice as just being able to see the screen of the person you're trying to help. Obviously, in the post-pandemic world, we're all spread out still. You can't just walk over to their desk and see their screen and offer to help them. Being able to do that with Remote Assist is, a really table stakes operation for any, device management solution these days. And we released our offering for this about 6 months ago. It was code based. It was maybe not as awesome as we wanted it to be, but it definitely got you the flavor of being able to support remote devices from wherever you are directly in the admin console. And so we're really excited that 2 new modes of operation for Remote Assist are now available. The first of those is prompted assist, so that instead of having to communicate a code to the other side, we can just fire off a prompt on their system and make it available to be controlled directly from that environment. In addition, we now offer the silent assist, where you can just help somebody immediately dive right into their machine and offer them the help that they need in order to get their work done. And so I'm going to demonstrate here. Give me just one quick second. I've got a screen to share, so give me just one quick second.
Yeah, and just add to Tom, we know that a lot of people have been paying for a point solution to manage or to offer remote support or assistance to their end user, right? So we actually deliberately make it free for everybody to use. So and for any number of devices for unlimited amount of time. So even if today, if you were to use another remote assist, for example, vendor, you can still use Jump Cloud if you want. So it will coexist. So we make it really easy for you guys. And then when you are fully comfortable with the offering that we have, or the capabilities that we offer, you can feel free to stop paying the vendor that you have and just fully consolidate all your, product capabilities on the Jump Cloud platform. So just so you guys know, just watch out for more. If you're on the fence, you're still waiting for these features to come, let us know, what's
Yeah.
missing. We'll really push you to just use us and forget everybody and forget about paying.
That's right. And, Charles is exactly right in the comments here. Is Silent Assist is, hey, let me fix that for you. IT folks are helpful folks. We're here to help people overcome the hurdles to do their day-to-day jobs. And one of the great ways to do that is with Silent Assist. So here you can see I've got my device that I found. I may have gotten a phone call from somebody. Hey, I'm seeing something really weird on my screen. Can you help me figure out what's going on? And at that point, we get the message that it's launching Remote Assist. And here you can pick which way you want to do it. Do you want to use Live Assist with a one-time access code, which is the way that we've had before today? Also, we offer now unattended access, which is just direct access to the system. And so here I can start this session, and it will establish a remote connection to the device. And you'll be connected in very short order at that point to the device that I have one sitting here on the bench next to me. And we can get into that device almost immediately. It's got to negotiate a session key between them. All of this is handled over TLS, so it's fully encrypted end-to-end. There's no way to snoop through this particular connection. And we get to the point where we can access the device on the other end. Give this just 1 second. It can take up to a minute to get the service launched, if only because of the ping back and forth and the establishment of the keys. We work to do that as securely as possible so that the device doesn't need to check in all the time, and we can access things from here. And now I can see on my screen, I'm starting to get the message that it's establishing the remote connection. And here you can see, oh no, bad news, my files have been encrypted. Oh, I can see this. Pranks.com. Oh no, you see, you just got to close the window and they go away. And so you can see here on the screen, the user gets the comfort of knowing that, Tom Bridge is controlling their device. They know who's on the other end, that all keys back on the admin that's logged in from the user portal tells me their email address, gives me a session duration, and lets me, if I want to, revoke control. So that I can say, hey, look, no, I'm done here. I don't need your help anymore. Thanks. It's been fun. And if I click that on the other side, I get a note that's like, hey, are you sure you want to end this session? And sure enough, I do. And so I'm now back at the spot where the end user has disconnected the session, and I'm back into my spot. I fixed the problem. Everything went away there. And so in this particular case, we can also show here the remote assist with the user consent. When we get a user consent, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can bring the laptop over here. The app had not fully quit yet. And so it was telling me there was an open session. Give me just 1 quick second. And I'll launch that remote assist again.
While you're doing that, Tom,
Yeah.
Daymok was asking whose credentials are leveraged during the connection. Example, user needs help and does not have any admin rights.
So in this particular case, you are joining their user session. And so if you have if you have another admin on the device, you can use that admin's credentials to, on the Windows side, run tasks as administrator. You're going to know that password. You're going to be able to enter that username and password on the fly, because you've got direct keyboard access to their device. So here I am now, and you can see I've got my little screen up on the, this is the laptop saying, hey, by the way, your Jump Cloud administrator, Tom, would like to remotely connect to your device. To allow this connection, click accept and connect. Otherwise, this request will be automatically rejected in 5 minutes. And so if I say accept and connect, it goes through the process of establishing the remote session, and now we're live again. And so I can go back to sharing my screen. And so here you can see, once again, Tom Bridge is viewing your device. I can now, at this point, request control, which will essentially offer me USB control from the device. I can type, I can, use the trackpad and do all of those things and actually go through here and say, yep, I want to go look at profiles and go from there. You're just viewing the open session that's present at that point. And so now I can go in here and I can say, hey, look, I can, select a display. If I had more than one display, you can pick which of the displays you see on screen. In addition, you have the ability to enable clipboard sync so that at that point, anything that you copy on your controlling computer can be pasted on the controlled computer so that you've got full access to, copy wherever you need. So you've got the full option at that point. Brandon asked an important question. Does the new release allow for different credentials with UAC now? Yes, you do have the option to go through UAC prompting. That was released about a week prior to the spot. So if you've been in our early access program, that was released about a week and a half ago, and now is available as part of the general availability. So you'll have the ability to answer a UAC prompt based on a user on Windows that is not the currently logged in window or currently logged in user. Frank asked an important question. What if the user is locked to the device, asks me for help, but they walk away assuming I can do this without their assistance? Now, I have definitely supported this user before, and they are a challenge. There's no question about that. In the event that you have a locked session, you can remote into the device. However, you may not have the user's credential in order to unlock their user session. That's not something that we can currently provide you. Because that prompt actually comes from the operating system and not from the remote assist side. And so in those particular spots, you're going to be in a bit of a sticky wicket. Unfortunately, you're going to need to have your user there to help you get started through the process. From there, you can help resolve the issue. But if you do have a screensaver lock policy, which every organization should have, you're going to need to make sure that you can connect in a timely fashion. Charles asked an important question. So the only the existing ports for the agent comms? Yes. There is not a new port that is required as part of all of this. We do set up a small service on the device to listen for remote access connections. However, that's all done over the existing agent communications channel.
Yeah, because they were asking about whether they need to open.
Correct.
They need to open anything on their firewall?
There are no other open ports. This is a outreach directly from the device to Jump Cloud. It's only outbound communications at that point. This does not require an open port on your firewall. This does not require an open port on your network. This is all handled over the agent communications channel.
And Brett is asking, does Silent Assist handle multiple displays, and could it replace a tool for users to use this for working remotely on the workstation, or is this primarily for support-related tasks?
Silent Assist works just like the rest of the the Remote Assist family, and so you can control multiple displays at that point. You're just switching back and forth between them. So that will work just as expected. The important question here is, will this replace tools for users to work remotely from a workstation? I think that depends on your environment and what tasks are being accomplished here. For very color sensitive tasks like color correction on video, I'm not sure that this is exactly where you want to go, because color correction doesn't carry over a remote session. So be aware that there are some circumstances that are more suited to this than others. Nathan asked an interesting question. Can Remote Assist negotiate and auto reconnect if the system is rebooted? Not today. I would happily take a feature request for this though, because I think that that's probably where we need to start to go next. So as you take a look at what we have today, and if there's spots where you're not entirely comfortable there, I think that there are places that can work here. I think that some of the boot modes that we're talking about are also a little bit of a challenge here when the device is encrypted. There's no network access at the file vault lock screen, period, full stop. And so in those cases, we're going to need to wait until there's a user session again in order to restart a user session.
And James,
James asked an important question. Sorry, I may have missed this. What's the timeline on being able to access the device unattended at the login screen? I believe that this works today on macOS as long as the device is not at the file vault screen. I will need to find out and get back with you on the Windows side of the house. Joranna, do you know offhand?
No, I'm trying to look at the roadmap here. I think it's slated to later part of this year or even beginning of next year. But I did see reboot and reconnect is on the roadmap for 2024. So that's something that we are looking at.
Got it. Thanks, James. I will double check my understanding here, but I had thought that we were supporting that particular use case. I'll check with Neeraj. Drop me an email. Anybody with additional questions can always drop me an email. I'm tom.bridge@jumpcloud.com, and I'm more than happy to go over additional feature requests or functionality changes over time.
Yeah, and also if you guys have any urgent feedback that you want Neeraj and the team to find out, remoteassist@jumpcloud.com would be another alias for you all to reach out to.
and
Absolutely.
Frank did have one question about failed to launch the remote assist app on the device. The device is locked. Notified the user to unlock the device and try again. Just asking if that is expected.
I believe that further down the session, James comments that he spoke with Neeraj on this one, and that is expected behavior.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, yeah, dropping us a note at remoteassist@jumpcloud.com. More than happy to talk with folks on this one going forward.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you.
Cool.
Please keep the questions coming, y'all.
Yeah,
if
for
you
sure.
If you have any more. Session duration countdown. Is there a way to extend that session while connected, or would you need to reconnect?
You would need to reconnect in that situation. If you've got your session time limited, there is no way to extend that session from within the current session.
Right. I guess there might be. Is there a plan to be able to do that, or is that just so that you're not connected infinitely?
I think it's mainly so that we're not connected infinitely. And we're open to feature requests here, but I don't want to see this turn into an infinite connection because there are consequences for doing that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Tom, you are welcome to hang around for the news if you feel up to it.
absolutely.
But I know you were kind of starting to feel a little under the weather, so we don't
I'll
want
do my best. How's that?
Absolutely. That sounds great. All right. On to the news. Patch Tuesday. There were 3 0-day flaws. So if you haven't been up on that, you should be patching those immediately. Actually, there were 51 vulnerabilities in Windows and Microsoft Office and Visual Studio from Microsoft in their May update. 3 0-day flaws, CVE 2023 24932, 29325, and 29336. Focus this month needs to be on rapidly updating both Windows and Microsoft Office. Both platforms are getting the Patch Now recommendation from Computer World. The known issues were around guest virtual machines running Windows Server 2022, some versions of VMware ESXi. Windows Server 2022 might not start up. Both Microsoft and VMware are working together on a resolution. So we will link those so that you can go check them out. Also, Microsoft will take nearly a year to finish patching new 0-day secure boot bug, which was used by Black Lotus Bootkit, reported back in March. It was patched in January, but the new patch addresses another actively exploited workaround for systems running Windows 10 and 11 and Windows Server versions going back to Windows Server 2008. And the reason this is important is it was going to render some older versions no longer able to boot from older bootable media that doesn't include the fixes. So you want to keep an
Mm.
eye on that and watch those carefully. So that Black Lotus boot kit is the first known real world malware that can bypass secure boot protections, allowing for the execution of malicious code before your PC begins loading Windows and its many
Oof.
security protections. So-
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge. Being able to fully speak to the security of your boot chain is a huge part of this. And obviously, Windows devices and Apple devices have very different approaches on this, in terms of how they execute on those kind of things. And so, if you've got a situation where you're secure, you cannot rely on secure boot in that case. That's definitely a red flag for me, and it's frustrating to see that the resolution process here is going to be so long.
Yeah, the reason let's see, that was an Ars Technica. The reason they're highlighting this fix is because unlike many high priority Windows fixes, the update will be disabled by default for at least a few months after it's installed, partly because it will eventually render current Windows boot media unbootable, and the
Oof.
fix requires changes to the Windows boot manager that can't be reversed once they've been enabled. So we'll link that so you can read the full article. But yeah, that's a big oof. So I wanted to call that out in particular, because a year is an awful long time to be working on, especially you know, a 0 day
Well, yeah, and
security
I think
lift.
the one of the other problems is that getting a place where you've got to replace all of your boot media. Um, that's a
Ouch.
substantial lead time to take into account here. So, oof,
Yeah, that's a big
always rough.
ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yeah, Brandon, it's going to be a tricky one as it will break a lot of media. That is
Hmm.
that is true. I can't imagine having to go through uh all the boot media that you would need to. Um let's see, is there any update on the admin? This James is asking a question. Any update on the admin console showing the Mac OS rapid release showing as an OS rollback?
I don't have anything to comment on that today. I know that it's with our engineering teams for evaluation. In this particular case, the 13.3.1a update is certainly an interesting one. We still don't know what's inside of it, which I think is even more wild in a lot of ways. But yeah, I was going to say definitely it shouldn't be considered to be a rollback on from JumpCloud side. We're working to resolve that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Okay. So I read this next headline and I just had to shake my head and maybe file this under don't try this at home, kids. The race to the bottom for social clout is starting to reach its peak. A YouTuber staged a plane crash and faces up to 20 years in jail. A YouTuber pilot, and I wasn't following closely, so I hadn't even seen this story before. A YouTuber pilot had bailed out midair and deliberately sent his plane crashing into the ground to bolster viewing numbers on his channel. He crashed his plane in Southern California in November of 2021. And he ejected from his single engine plane with a selfie stick in hand and parachuted into the dense vegetation of the Los Padres National Forest. There were cameras all over the aircraft showing its out of control descent into the forest and eventual crash landing. He filmed himself hiking to the wreckage. They saw the viewers on that watched this. I think it was seen by nearly 3 million people. He was bushwhacking through Poison Oak and over the hills and supposedly struggling to find civilization and giving updates about how thirsty he is because he couldn't find his water and came across a vehicle and apparent salvation. Well, in the weeks after the incident, investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA launched a probe into the crash, and he was ordered to preserve the wreckage, but he did not. He and a friend went and winched the wreckage out of the forest with a helicopter after they had recovered the data from the onboard cameras. And then they cut the plane up into small pieces and dumped them into trash bins in and around the Lompoc City Airport.
I read this story in just abject disbelief that someone could be so thirsty for YouTube that they would literally crash their own plane. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the number of things that this represents in terms of just blatant irresponsibility. I mean, this is Southern California. If you crash a plane, what does it do? Well, it catches fire. What's a problem in Southern California? All of the time, fire. As a native Californian, like that is where my vision like went red. And I was like, there is no amount of prison time I would not sentence this person to. I could not serve on this jury. I would not be impartial.
Oh, absolutely. I lived there for over 20 years
Yeah.
in Southern California, and it went through multiple terrifying fires, and people having to evacuate all the time and stuff, and millions of dollars of homes being destroyed and wildlife and forests and everything, and it's just the irresponsibility. um It just boggles my mind. I mean, there are clout chasers all over the place, but this just it takes the cake in a lot of ways. Um, so I'm not even sure that 20 years is going to be enough. I just
Becky,
I
I was going to highlight Charles's comment too, because all that for 3 million views. 3 million views isn't even that many views these days. So don't think he even got what he was looking for.
yeah, and Nathan says, who even has access to a helicopter to recover their self-crashed plane? Sounds like this person already has too much time and money on their hands. We have some serious societal issues that anyone would even consider this. Oh, even worse, Damoc Enterprises. Even worse, there's a nuclear reaction power plant outside of Lompoc. I did not know that. I knew there was one, at San Onofre, but yeesh, ouch. Yeah, that just blew my mind. So I was reeling from that one. Oof. Okay. If you remember, several weeks ago, we talked about digital legacies and what your family might need to do with your devices if something happens to you, or what you might need to do with families' devices. And we had this because I had been to a talk where someone was talking about these things, and I came across a headline that I wanted to point out on Macworld about how to unlock a deceased person's remaining devices without legacy access. So a couple years ago, Apple set up legacy access so you could get into um, someone's iCloud account. And so they wrote a quick article about how to get into someone's iCloud account if you didn't have digital legacy program set up, but it will erase everything. So we're going to link that just because I thought it was interesting to go ahead and share and point out in case anyone needs to reference that, because they wrote out all the instructions and the big warnings of, if you do this, you can provide a death certificate and everything, or you can get the device unlocked, but it will erase iCloud keychain, all the images, everything. So there are ways to do things like that, but you know be cautious when you do those things. So it's just another reminder that, and it's the same thing with work devices, right? Like if you needed to do that with, and you didn't have those recovery options for someone at work, and you needed this stuff on the device, be careful about the ways you go about recovering it, because you could wipe it and then you don't have the stuff you need.
Yeah, and I put the link in the chat there for setting up legacy access for family members. If you haven't done this, please take a minute and do it. You never know what's going to happen out there. I've had friends go out on a bike ride and not come back, and their loved ones were really left out in the cold because they were like, "I'm 35. What do you mean I have to think about this stuff?" you got to think about it. You got to think about it with your people too. And if this is an opportunity that you have to message something that would really make a difference for folks, this is one of those things. So strongly encourage folks to set up those legacy contacts, because that is a good way to, build that safely into your future.
Speaking of that, this is not IT related at all, but I was a blogger back in the day, and I was a mom blogger a long time ago too. And so a lot of my friends who are former mom bloggers, we've all been reeling this week.
Yeah. The loss of Heather Armstrong, Heather Hamilton, after she was remarried,
Hmm.
it definitely hit both my wife and I in the feels.
Hmm.
We were bloggers back 20 odd years ago.
Oh yeah.
And so you knew who she was. And, you knew if in those early days, you got a chance to, meet a lot of people like that. That's how I met Anil Dash back in the day. That's how I met her back in the day. And we can say that we've missed our friend for a little while right now. It's clear that she had been struggling,
Hmm.
but it was very tough this week to to see that she'd passed. So
Yeah, it was. I've been to many conferences with her. I didn't know her well. I'm not claiming a friendship or anything, but she's the reason I started going to blog her. And she wrote about it in 2005, the very first one. And the next year, I went in 2006 and met so many
yeah,
people that are still my friends to this day. I mean, before I had my kids and everything. So, um 15, 16 years, like the first blog her I went to was in San Jose. The next year I went, I was pregnant with my oldest. So these are some long time friends, and a lot of us don't even write anymore, but we miss those yearly conferences and seeing
hmm
those friends. And so we are all, talking about it, and just it's even though we may not have even followed her, she was a pioneer in that space. And even though she was struggling and had stuff going on in her life, it's still sad to see something like that happen and see someone lose a tough battle. And so a lot of my friends have been really just it hit hard this week. So check in with your people, check in with your friends who are even the ones that look like they are doing okay, the strong ones that look like they never have problems. Um, Anyone who has had mental health struggles in the past, check in on them. And I think that's another good reason to plug the mental health webinar that we're going to have, because um, it's it can be a real struggle for some people, and I don't think we talk about it enough. That
agreed. And I was going to say, this is the third year that we've done one of these in the month of May.
Mhm.
Last year is hosted by Danya Foster, who's one of Jump Cloud's own IT people. Was really, it hit me really hard, because I've definitely had my struggles with mental health the last few years, especially during the pandemic. This is a difficult field that we're in, and there's help for folks out there, and it's okay to ask. So I just want everybody to know that your mental health matters to me, to us as a company, to us as a community. And there's a lot of resources that we have that we're going to try to bring to bear next week. And so come join us, and come spend some time with Alexis Santos and me, as we talk through coping techniques and talking about how there are good ways to build good patterns for establishing better mental health. Um, Especially when we think about all of the responsibilities that we have, as IT practitioners, we're the first responders for a lot of our companies in terms of their data health and security, and that has its own has its own weight. So respect that. Know that you're not alone, and we'll be talking more about that next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure that you take the time to take care of yourself and talk to people when you need to. And just do what you need to do to take care of yourself, because if you aren't healthy, then you're not going to be able to help others. And
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think that's a good reminder to just built-in remoting helps preserve my
Yeah.
sanity. Thank you for caring.
Yeah. Mental
Yeah.
health is so important, but physical health too. So even though you think that you're managing very well, please really do your annual physicals just to keep
Yes.
everything up to date, right? Like hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes. Those are silent killers too. So even though you think you're okay, you might not be okay. So just protect yourself and your loved ones.
Amen.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a endorsement from Kelly there on the 10% Happier app that Alexis Santos regularly contributes to. So go go check that out. And Nathan says find an outlet of some sort, whether it be music, movies, video games, reading, some kind of hobby, some way to distract your mind, and definitely physical activity, especially getting out into nature, be it hiking, cycling, camping, paddling. Super helpful. I agree.
Hmm.
Go touch a tree.
Yeah,
You know,
touching
it's
grass, man. I mean, I was gonna say
mhm.
the number of times now where I put up a little thing inside Slack, and my coworkers tease me a little bit about it because I say that I'm taking a stupid walk for my stupid mental health. And they're like, "Are you walking the stupid out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm walking the stupid out. It's fine." And go for a quick 10, 15 minutes walk. So that's all it needs to be. Just get out, get up, get away from your desk, step away from the screen, put on some music, or maybe take a call from out there. But yeah, I was going to say, I believe that Kelly Dan Hahn, who originated that phrase for me, is actually a Portlandite. And yeah, I was going to say there is, and Dan's also a good friend of mine, and so that's where I got the idea from. I'm blatantly stealing it from Dan, and it blatantly helps. So,
Hey, you know what? Chopping firewood, there's something about getting that energy out. I
oh
think I
yeah,
have spoken before about breaking down a wall with a big old sledgehammer. It was stucco. And
oh wow.
boy, was that therapeutic. Just breaking down that stucco. Woo! I don't have any stucco here, but I do need to get rid of some very giant bushes. I do not have an axe, but I have um, well, I'll have to go get it. I have a chainsaw, so maybe that'll,
There you go.
woo, I'll have to be careful about that. I'll try not to come back with any major bandages next week. um,
Oh,
all right.
jackhammers are great times, but you got to be careful about carpal tunnel. So that's just that's my one warning about a jackhammer. That's how I got carpal tunnel the first time. So.
Ooh, yeah. Business opportunity, getting IT admins connected to demolition companies.
I
The
love that
funny thing
idea.
is, demolition requires less skill than construction, because tearing
Hmm.
down is a lot easier than constructing. So Kelly wants to know, where do I sign up? But yeah. Um, all right. I think that's a really good message, is take care of yourself and check in with your friends and family, make sure they're doing okay too. Um, and mountain biking, we've got some good suggestions in here. I hope you bring all those to the wellness event, and I hope that you sign up for that, because we would love to have you, as many people as possible. Send it to your teammates, send it to your workmates, even if they're not on the IT team. I think that it can help a lot of people. We would love to have more people there. Yeah, Tom's a big biker. I can still remember Tom last summer when we were at our all company meeting, and we're all in Denver, and we're huffing up the highway, and here comes Tom on a bike just zooming past all of us, and we're like,
Those Lime bikes are a great time. I'm telling you, that's where it's at.
dang it. That was such a good idea, but I didn't have the Lime app, so I didn't do it. But there goes Tom, and we're like, "Oh, Tom, he's so smart." I was like, "Good way to do it."
Love a good bike. I will say, my experience with the scooters, less good. I definitely bruised a rib and bruised my kidney when I was in Australia. When I hit a pothole and got thrown off the little electric scooter. So, electric scooter less good than bike. So,
Yeah, I didn't have a helmet though. I was a little worried about riding a bike without a helmet.
Now, you mentioned that you have a Peloton in your clubhouse. Has it had its seat post replaced yet? There was a
I saw
safety
that
recall.
headline. I don't know. I'll have to ask now. I think we've got a couple of them in there, and now I'm going to have to ask and see because I don't know. I'll be sending an email to the HOA and say, "Hey, has anybody checked to see if we've done the recall?" So, yeah, I'll have to go give that a try. Yeah, we've got a little small workout space in our clubhouse that I don't use frequently enough because I've got a just a little elliptical upstairs, which I also don't use frequently enough. So I don't know what I'm saying. I don't use any of it frequently enough. Oh, see, Keith ordered his seat post yesterday. Um, Wait, I must have missed something about dressed up like a stormtrooper and still got screwed up. Trees don't move fast enough. Wait, what did I what
Oh, I
did
think
I
he was
miss in the
he was out
chat?
on a mountain biking trip, and he had the elbow armor, the knee armor, and all of that stuff.
Oh, broke a
And
mountain
turns out,
bike.
yeah, you're exactly right. Trees definitely don't move fast.
Oh, did you go over the handlebars and then hit the tree and it didn't get out of the way, right? The tree didn't get out of your way. Yep. Ouch. I've heard of many of those. See, that's why I don't go mountain biking. Those trees, man, they just jump right out in front of you. Every time. Every time. Yeah, all of a sudden those trees come out of nowhere. Yep. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy your weekend activities, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And then I will be out the next 2 weeks after that, and Tom and some others are going to substitute for us. And we hope you have a lovely time. We still got comments coming in. Keep them going.
Yeah.
Those comments can keep coming in even after we're done with the video. You can keep them going after the fact, and we'll come back and read them. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Great one.